Hey there, and welcome to Light Novel Sound, where I bring stories to life through voice. Today, we'll embark on a journey into the world of Astral Pet Store by Ancient She. And if you'd like to read along, you can find the original novel at lightnovelworld.co. So, what's not to love about transmigrating into a world full of pets? There are mighty creatures of all shapes and sizes, some cuddly, some fierce, and some, both. And I've even got my own pet store to run. Sounds great, right? Well, not exactly. My younger sister can't stand me. I've got zero talent for handling astral pets. And don't even get me started on the bizarre system I'm stuck with. But hey, it wouldn't be a proper transmigration without a few ridiculous challenges, right? Before we jump in, a huge thank you to Ancient She for creating this incredible story. And if you enjoy the audiobook, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It really helps support the channel and keeps these stories alive in the YouTube world. Alright, let's dive into Astral Pet Store. Chapter 381, Seal. A malicious banquet. That was the first thing that jumped into everyone's mind. That thought scared them. He invited them to his store at this critical juncture. Was he trying to drag them down with him? What a cunning fellow. However, they couldn't say no to him since they were still in shock after Su Ping murdered 3 titled battle pet warriors. They said nothing for a moment, neither accepting nor refusing. No one wanted to set an example for others. The first would usually bear the brunt of the attack. What if this vicious person punished someone as a warning to others? The 2 titled battle pet warriors from the government had understood Su Ping's intention. They felt sorry for those major families. Qin Xiaotian and Yi Longtian both had an awful look on their faces. Both were going to lead their respective families in the future. At the moment, Su Ping said a few words, and their families were frightened. The fact that Su Ping was trying to drag the 5 major families into trouble filled them with anger and complicated feelings. Since Su Ping was Su Lingyue's brother and he was not that much older than her, he wasn't some old freak who had used some skills to retain a youthful look. Qin Xiaotian and Yi Longtian realized that Su Ping was probably somewhere around their age. That idea frustrated them even more. Su Ping smiled at the still silent family heads that had said nothing yet. He, too, didn't say another word. He expressed his intention and he would see their responses the next day. He wasn't trying to get them in trouble and make them fight the Star organization with him. He was not that worried about the Star organization after finding out the basics about them. That was merely an organization without legendary battle pet warriors. If their head office was closed, he would have gone to their lair directly. He had mainly invited the 5 major families to stop by his store because he didn't want to lose those wealthy, potential customers. Since the exhibition of his power had overwhelmed them, he thought he might just as well use that as leverage to warn the 5 major families so that they would not secretly sabotage his business. At the same time, he could get something out of them. Of course, the latter was the most important reason. He believed that after that day, as long as the 5 family heads were in their sane minds, they would not offend him without thinking. The instigating Zhou family had already been taught a good lesson. But if the Liu family refused to go the smarter way, he would not mind teaching them a very good lesson so that they would never make another stupid decision again. I'm so very concerned about the business of the store, Su Ping exclaimed inwardly. He meant for the system to understand that, see, I am racking my brains for the sake of the store. How about you give me another free admission to any cultivation site? The system gave no reaction, as if dead. That was completely within expectation. Su Ping never believed that the system would reply to him. He looked at the phantom flame beast which had almost been healed. He told Su Lingyu to pick it up, since it was time for them to go home. Su Lingyu came back to her senses. It didn't occur to her that this was how the competition would end. The corpses of the 3 titled battle pet warriors were still lying on the stage, dripping with blood. That was a strong visual impact. In her mind, titled battle pet warriors were people she could never compare to. However, they lost their lives so easily in Su Ping's hands. They didn't have the chance to run, at all. She gazed at Su Ping. She thought he had just reached the titled rank. It turned out that he wasn't even a titled battle pet warrior, and yet his battle pet could kill titled battle pet warriors. How long has he been hiding his strength? Su Lingyu asked herself. She went up to check up on the phantom flame beast, which was getting better. She patted its head and sent it back. Then, she walked toward the Moonfrost dragon. The dark dragon hound had helped the Moonfrost dragon stabilize its situation. She patted the dragon's blood-drenched scales and also sent it back to the contract space. "Time to go," said Su Ping to the two titled battle pet warriors of the government after Su Lingyu got ready. He also commanded the dark dragon hound to accompany Shu Kong, its current master, since the rental contract was still in effect. The dark dragon hound had to do as required and went back to Shu Kong. When Shu Kong stroked its fur, the dark dragon hound snorted as if it disliked this intimate action, but the look in the dark dragon hound's eyes said that it was enjoying this. The two titled battle pet warriors from the government said goodbye to Su Ping and watched as he left the venue with Su Lingyu. The others followed the two with their eyes. To be exact, it should be four, because walking after Su Ping and Su Lingyu were the skeleton and Yang Bingyu that it was dragging. When the girl arrived, she had been swollen with arrogance. As she was leaving, she was yanked away like a dead dog. Her hair was disheveled and her clothes were tainted with blood. The stares that fell on her were full of complex meaning. As the mess ended on the stage, the overly panicked spectators slowly calmed down. At the moment, a third of them had already exited the venue. Of the remaining two-thirds of the audience, some were still seated while the others were crowding the corridors. As the battle ended, everyone froze on the spot. None of them could have foreseen that a battle between titled battle pet warriors could end that quickly. Everyone watched as Su Ping disappeared into one of the corridors. That all-powerful Yang Bingyu was dragged away. Who was that young man? Fei Yanbo, the other two teachers, and the students under their care wore dull expressions. Su Ping was just sitting right next to them moments before. Then he went up to the stage and slayed 3 titled battle pet warriors in a row, completely astounding everyone. All of it happened so fast that their minds had been unable to follow the turn of events. That Yu Weihan was stunned speechless. She would have never guessed that the person sitting with them was the most horrifying of all. They too. She had thought that the sister was scary enough, but the brother was the actual monster. Luo Fengtian and those who had provoked Su Ping at the gate of the Phoenix Peak Academy were shivering and turning pale. Their lips trembled so violently that they had been unable to utter a sound. Outside the venue, Su Ping saw people who had run out to escape the chaos. Some of them didn't run far. After they felt safe outside, they stopped and turned around to look. Some took out their phones, ready to take a picture or two. Su Ping used astral powers to blur their sights and quietly left the crowd so as to not cause a stir. He told the little skeleton to throw Yang Bingyu to the back seat and keep an eye on her when he and Su Lingyu climbed to the front seats and drove back home. An hour later, the car pulled into Taohuaxi Street by their home. On their way, their mom had called them several times. They had just parked the car when Su Ping saw their mom running out to them. She was surely waiting by the door. Su Ping knew from her call that she had watched the live stream and witnessed the disturbance at the end. Su Ping felt sorry after seeing the nervousness and worry on her face. "Mom, I'm glad you made it home safe. Come on in, quickly," Li Qingru said. At the same time, she took a look around, nervously, as if she was afraid some people were tailing them. Su Ping smiled at that. Li Qingru was surprised to see him calm enough to smile at this time. She dragged him inside and soon, she noticed the little skeleton coming out from the car, as well as Yang Bingyu, who was still controlled by the dark energy hand. As she stared at Yang Bingyu, Li Qingru turned pale with fright. Why did you bring her here?" she said, somewhat panicky. She wanted to say that it was an outright kidnapping. Of course, she didn't have to use the exact words and Su Ping could still understand the implied meaning. He replied with a smile. Since he had already killed titled battle pet warriors, kidnapping someone wasn't that big of a deal. That being said, he knew that his mom would be scared because she was still an ordinary law-abiding citizen. Su Ping didn't explain much. After what happened to Su Lingyu, he had realized that being a normal person might be an even happier choice. He could carry the burden and shield them from any danger. "She came with me voluntarily," he said, and then gently pushed his mom to go back home. Voluntarily? Li Qingru was speechless. Yang Bingyu rolled her eyes at him. Where was the willingness when I'm clearly in his hands? After they went inside, Su Ping told Su Lingyu to keep their mom company whenever he had to run back to the store for something. Su Lingyu understood that he had to take care of Yang Bingyu. Su Lingyu looked at the latter. Although Yang Bingyu had tried to humiliate her on stage, but as of that moment, somehow, she felt sorry for Yang Bingyu. Of course, she didn't try to stop Su Ping. That tiny bit of remorse was not enough to disturb her mind. She knew that judging by the current situation, Yang Bingyu had turned into their enemy. She should never be merciful to an enemy. That was what Su Ping had taught her, and the thing she had learned from her brief journey as an explorer. While Su Lingyu kept their mom occupied, Su Ping took Yang Bingyu to the store in a hurry. As soon as he went inside, Su Ping dug out the scroll and opened it. A girl rolled out. It was Tang Ruyan. "Opening the store now." Tang Ruyan patted the dust off her clothes and stood up. Hardly had her voice faded away when she saw Yang Bingyu. Tang Ruyan was surprised to see a girl in such an embarrassing situation. "Did he kidnap another one?" Tang Ruyan turned around and stared at Su Ping. Yang Bingyu was just as surprised when she saw a person roll out from the scroll. "Is this a storage item?" Yang Bingyu was taken aback by seeing that Su Ping had such an item. It was an extremely rare item, she had barely heard about it. Su Ping did not answer Tang Ruyan. He went to the pet room to get Joanna, who was cultivating in the back. Joanna stepped out from the nursing pen, changing her size from that of an action figure to a normal human size. Her original body was enormous. She had used special skills to adjust her height ever since she began her life at the store. "Do you know any skills that can seal off a person's astral powers?" Su Ping asked. Joanna followed Su Ping to the storefront. She saw Yang Bingyu at once, and the traces of blood told Joanna what Su Ping had done again. "Seal her astral powers?" Joanna asked. Su Ping nodded. "Piece of cake." Joanna lifted her hand. A beam of golden light came into being in her hand and changed into a special rune. She slapped the rune on Yang Bingyu's forehead. The golden glow disappeared, leaving behind only a complicated symbol. Chapter 382, Abnormality in the Mysterious Realm. "Hey!" Yang Bingyu was startled. She felt her forehead was warming up. All of a sudden, she could no longer feel the astral powers inside her. They vanished into thin air, and that feeling filled her with trepidation. What was that skill? She stared at the breathtakingly beautiful girl with golden hair who seemed to be extremely dangerous. At the same time, out of instinct, Yang Bingyu felt she should respect the girl, as if she were endowed with a noble charm, something which could bring them closer, making her hold the girl in awe and respect. Tang Ruyan had been staying in the store for some time. She had known for a while that Joanna was a terrifying character, and in no way was the simple teenage girl that she appeared to be. Tang Ruyan gazed at the golden mark on Yang Bingyu's forehead, alerted. It was fortunate that Su Ping didn't tell Joanna to do this to her, or else she would have also lost her astral powers. After staring at the symbol etched on Yang Bingyu's forehead, Su Ping asked, "Done?" This turned out to be simpler than he had thought. This is the astral seal. Her astral powers were sealed off and she can no longer use them. But since she's physically fit, she can still move about. "Do you need me to break her arms and legs?" Joanna asked. She asked the question so casually, as if the question were, "Do you want pizza for dinner?" Tang Ruyan was startled. Yang Bingyu's pupils contracted and her heart was racing. Su Ping shook his head. "No, thanks. She won't be able to summon battle pets without astral powers. She won't do any harm with her physical strength." Anyone else would think Yang Bingyu had a strong physical quality, able to practice outstanding physical skills. However, Su Ping cultivated the solar bulwark, Yang Bingyu was just a tad stronger in his opinion, when compared to other battle pet warriors of her rank. The only explanation was that battle pet warriors were too weak on the blue planet. All the true gods he had encountered in the demigod burial had mastered physical skills and would progressively tone up their bodies. They could be stronger than some beasts. He wondered if that was the case for other planets in the Federation. Su Ping shook his head. The Federation was not something he should focus on right this moment. He had to deal with the trouble at hand first. From today on, you have one more assignment, to keep an eye on her, Su Ping said to Tang Ruyan. Tang Ruyan suddenly realized, did Su Ping only ask Joanna to seal off the girl's astral powers because he was afraid I would be unable to keep her in check, right? Tang Ruyan was furious. What an insult. Who the hell is she? Where did you find her? Tang Ruyan asked rudely. This was also a chance for her to show their new friend the seniority she enjoyed. Get inside and ask her. Su Ping opened the scroll without paying attention to Tang Ruyan's tone. Although he didn't answer the question, Tang Ruyan was still happy. She snorted and then stepped back into the scroll triumphantly. But Yang Bingyu was still baffled. Impatient, Su Ping picked her up by her collar and threw her inside. He put away the scroll and asked Joanna with a cunning grin, "That seal you used. Can you teach me that?" Joanna raised her eyebrows. What a surprise. He was showing his unscrupulous merchant side again. No problem. But you do need to have divine energy first, Joanna answered. It was just a skill. Teaching him would not cost her a thing. She wouldn't mind as long as he wasn't asking for rare resources. A smile crept across his face. He had divine energy inside him. He had been able to crack the seal at the venue. Part of the reason was that he had used the strength enhancement astral runes on that arm. The other part of the reason was that he used divine energy. That was why he had been able to exert a force that was close to the legendary rank. That was the Fist of Exorcist. At the first rank, he could punch a 9th rank beast to death. Coupled with the strength enhancement astral runes, as well as the solar bulwark and the divine energy, he had been able to crack the seal. I need one more material to finish the first level of the solar bulwark. By then, my physical strength would be well matched to the 9th rank, the titled rank. With the Fist of Exorcist, I will be able to exert greater strength. Besides, when my physical strength reaches that level, the Fist of Exorcist will be unleashed much faster. I will start on the 2nd level after I finish getting a hold of the 1st level. I will try and see if I can get some of the materials needed from the 5 families tomorrow. Su Ping went over his plans meticulously. He didn't start learning the astral seal from Joanna right then, choosing to wait until they went to the cultivation site. That would save him time and divine energy. His mom was still at home. Su Ping told Joanna to go and take care of her own business. He had to go home and tell his mom and Su Lingyu about some matters to be mindful of. In the meantime, inside the scroll, Tang Ruyan and Yang Bingyu were sitting under the astral spirit fruit tree. Yang Bingyu recognized the tree as soon as she saw it. On a second look, to her disappointment, she noticed that the tree had yet to bear fruit. The tree was precious, for sure, but the fruits were the most valuable. It could take more than 100 years for one fruit to grow. She would be long gone by then. Did he kidnap you as well? Yang Bingyu asked Tang Ruyan. She could tell that the latter was in a similar situation. Yes. Tang Ruyan shrugged. Do you even need to ask that? Can't you tell? Why did he kidnap you? What did you do to offend him? Yang Bingyu went on. I did nothing of the sort. Look at me. I'm a pretty girl. Do you think I look like someone that would go around and anger people? Nope. Good eyes. So, what got you here? Did you provoke him as well? As well? Of course not. Do you think I look like someone that would go around and anger people? Not really. Wanna get out? Sure I do. Got any ideas? Of course not. Or else you wouldn't have seen me here. Then, silence. So, I think we're in this together, right? Yang Bingyu broke the silence. Aha. Tang Ruyan's eyes began to glow. It was her luck that she had welcomed a fellow sufferer there. If she played her cards right, they could be allies, or she could use the new girl as an experiment. Let's get to know each other. I am Yang Bingyu. Tang Ruyan. I'm at the 6th rank. I'm at the 7th rank. Have you heard about the Star Organization? Have you heard about the Tang family? The Tang family? The one that once had a legendary battle pet warrior years ago. The Star Organization? The one whose legendary battle pet warrior just passed away. That's correct. Right. The two girls turned to see the surprise in each other's eyes. They both came from influential backgrounds. After a short moment of silence, Yang Bingyu asked another question. You're already at the 7th rank and I think you look pretty young. You must enjoy a high status in the Tang family. You're a few years younger than me and you're already at the 6th rank. You must be a valuable asset to the Star Organization. Yang Bingyu nodded but didn't voice an opinion. Does the Tang family know you were kidnapped? Not before but soon, I think, Tang Ruyan answered. She had been waitressing at Su Ping's store for almost a month. It was about time that her existence there should be known. Does the Star Organization know about your kidnapping? No, but soon, I guess, Yang Bingyu said. Su Ping did what he did in front of hundreds of thousands of people. No way could he hide that information. The two girls made eye contact again. Then, silence reigned again. If someone from the Tang family comes, can you get me out as well? Yang Bingyu gazed at Tang Ruyan solemnly. Of course. You're from the Star Organization. Helping you means a favor owed by your organization. If your people come first to get you out, can you take me with you? Sure. You're from the Tang family. I won't remain with arms crossed to see you die. Good. Aha. Just like that, the conversation ended again. A gentle breeze blew past the grass. The two girls heaved a sigh at the same time with sad expressions on their faces. They wondered when their people would go and get them. Hey! Su Ping had just stepped out of the door when something popped into his mind. It was the map of a vast land. The mysterious realm? On that map, there were 108 boundless dragon scale lands. Right then, the seal of one of the dragon scale lands had been undone. The mysterious realm is opening up again? How come I haven't heard anything about that? Su Ping raised his eyebrows. He thought of an explanation. The legendary battle pet warrior had gone to his store, meaning to kill him. The motive for that killing would be that he had also gained the brand to receive the Dragon King's legacy. That legendary battle pet warrior wanted to have Su Ping killed so that he couldn't get the legacy. However, to receive that legacy, apart from passing the tests on the 9th dragon bone, he would have to wait till all the seals of the dragon scale lands were undone. Only after that would the Dragon King's soul have enough strength to transfer the legacy. That legendary battle pet warrior is the one controlling the mysterious realm. Now, he's undoing the other seals of the dragon scale lands. So, does he have the confidence that someone can compete for the legacy? Su Ping wondered. That legendary battle pet warrior was ready. But Su Ping could tell that the Dragon Bone Tower was still undisturbed. No one had gone to climb the Dragon Bones yet. Su Ping sneered. He was determined to get the legacy. For the time being, he could give time for the seals to be undone. He would go when it came to the last couple of seals. Anyways, he could be teleported to the mysterious realm at any time he wanted by using the brand. Even when the mysterious realm was closed. But before that, I have to get all the materials ready to complete the first level of the solar bulwark, Su Ping thought. Time was pressing. The little skeleton was able to kill a legendary battle pet warrior. However, his opponents were most likely quite knowledgeable of the Dragon King's legacy. They could set up an ambush for him since they had been lying in wait and suddenly decided to open up the seal this day. Su Ping could definitely not afford to underestimate any opponents at the legendary realm. Given the harsh reality, he merely had one life. He had to become as strong as possible when the time came for him to take the legacy. Chapter 383, Renowned. Su Ping went back home. Su Lingyu was still with their mom, gently comforting her. Su Ping understood that all those pieces of news had come as a great shock to their mom. All this time he had been hiding his true strength from her for all this time, then she found out all of a sudden. A million questions were awaiting Su Ping. He felt a headache. Ma! Su Ping called her in a low voice. Su Lingyu and their mom were still chatting when they heard him. To their surprise, Su Ping was standing by the door, craning his neck to peer. It had been a long time since Su Lingyu saw Su Ping treading so carefully. All of a sudden, a familiar feeling from the past came back to her. Li Qingru stood up and walked to Su Ping, worried and nervous. A torrent of questions was thrown at him. Su Ping produced a forced smile. He walked his mother back to the sofa while setting her at ease, then he slowly told her the story. He had worked out an explanation before went back. For starters, he said he had been lying to her, he had been awakened quite a while back. Back when he was in elementary school. However, back then, considering the fact that the financial situation in the family didn't allow for two battle pet warriors to thrive, he had decided to keep it a secret and cultivate in private. Halfway through his story, Su Ping noticed that his mom had burst into tears. He felt it was a bit difficult to continue the story. Su Lingyu stared at Su Ping in a daze. She wasn't sure if Su Ping's story was real or not, but tears were pouring from her eyes. She remembered how she had begun bullying and bossing Su Ping around when she was younger, right after she was admitted to the professional schools for battle pet warriors. Who would have thought that he had been swallowing the humiliation for all those years? Suddenly, she felt she had been quite the jerk. Su Ping was busy comforting his mom when he noticed the sadness on Su Lingyue's face. He was speechless. True. To hide a lie, 1,000 lies would be needed. Su Ping had to avoid the trivial and dwell on the important. He ended that part quickly and shifted the conversation to the major issue. He said, Ma, you must know that the organization Yang Bingyu comes from will most likely come to see us. But do not worry. I have powerful help in the store. No one who comes to make trouble will make it back. For the coming days, just stay at home. No one can hurt you as long as you stay in this street. If you want to shop for groceries, just order them online and have them delivered. We have money now. Spend all you want. The point is that, no matter who comes to find you or get you, do not leave this street. Su Ping sounded serious. Li Qingru turned around and wiped the tears off her face. When she turned back, calmness had been restored on her face. She asked Su Ping, "Are you sure? That girl was able to parachute into the competition. Her organization is not one to be underestimated, then. If you feel uncertain, you and Ye can escape first. I can stay here." Su Ping was surprised by the determination in her eyes. A strong mom. He never expected that his mother could stay so composed when she was usually tender and gentle. He took a deep breath. "Ma, don't worry. No one can hurt you as long as I'm still here. They would have to kill me first before they reach you." "Don't say that. You take that back." Li Qingru and Su Lingyu shouted at once, trying to get rid of the bad luck that was contained in his words. Su Ping smiled. He said nothing, but he had become more determined than ever. In life, there has to be some people that you would want to protect. For him, it was his family. After he told their mom what she needed to do, Su Ping added a few words to Su Lingyu and cautioned her not to run about randomly. Then, he went back to his store. He believed that the Star organization would look for him directly when they arrived. They would not hurt his family or threaten him with their well-being. For starters, that would be a mean move. Secondly, it could be ineffective. After all, some titled battle pet warriors had a distant relationship with their families. They had all their minds focused on cultivation. It was unrealistic that a titled battle pet warrior could be forced to surrender by threatening to take other people's lives. That kind of rash action would alert the enemy. The powerful battle pet warriors that valued friendship and relationships were few and far between. The higher a person's status was, the more distant they would become after experiencing many things. That was reality. He went back to the store. Su Ping called Lin Ziqing, who was helping him collect materials. Where are we on the materials? Su Ping went directly to the point and he sounded impatient. He had given Lin Ziqing enough time, but the latter had failed to deliver. He was a titled battle pet warrior and the company he owned was involved in business, both legal and illegal. He had a wide range of connections. Still, a long time had passed but he had failed to locate one material. Su Ping felt he must have been too lenient. Well, Lin Ziqing had recognized the number was from Su Ping. But it came as a surprise that Su Ping would sound so unfriendly. Lin Ziqing pulled a long face. He still remembered the young man very well. The scene where Yuan Tianchen fled Su Ping's store in embarrassment had left a deep impression on him. "Ah, Brother Su, I have been meaning to say hi but I don't want to intrude," Lin Ziqing said with a laugh, trying to engage in some small talk first. "I said, how is the search for the material going?" Su Ping asked again. Lin Ziqing's expression changed. He could sense the killing intent in Su Ping's voice. Scared, Lin Ziqing didn't try to continue with his irrelevant conversation. "We found it. There was a small incident in the process but I've taken care of that, just a while ago. Brother Su, if you're in a hurry, I'll have it delivered as soon as possible." "How soon is that?" Su Ping pressed. "Well, the day after tomorrow, I suppose." Lin Ziqing sounded hesitant. Su Ping sneered. "It takes less than a day for a 9th-rank beast to fly across the entire subcontinent district. I give you 20 hours. I will come to your door if I don't have it by this time, tomorrow afternoon." With that said, he hung up. Lin Ziqing already had the material but was playing delay tactics. Su Ping believed that he had applied too little pressure on Lin Ziqing and he had not paid enough attention. At the same time, in a base city far away from the Longjiang base city, in a certain luxurious room, after the call was ended, Lin Kizin squeezed the cigar in his hand with a clouded face. It was hard to imagine that he had to listen to a kid. He's practically telling me to use a 9th-rank battle pet to make the delivery. Why is he in such a hurry? Did something happen? Lin Ziqing calmed himself down. He remembered what had been happening in the mysterious realm. Yuan Tianchen summoned the board members and was secretly undoing the seals. So, did the kid know about this? If his sudden rush was about the mysterious realm, he must have a source of information about the mysterious realm. Lin Ziqing was a bit frightened. The exploration in the mysterious realm was off the record. It was unlikely that someone inside Yuan Tianchen's group was a mole. Lin Ziqing didn't think that the kid could exert such an influence. After all, those who were part of the group were not fools. Who would betray a legendary battle pet warrior to help a kid? Besides, very few people knew the entire story. Suddenly, Lin Ziqing realized something shocking. If it hadn't been through a mole, then the kid must have learned the information from other sources. For example, being qualified to receive the legacy. He blinked. A long time passed and frustration reached his eyes. He could report this theory to Yuan Tianchen. But what he did in the pet store that day was too disappointing. It was jaw-dropping. The legendary battle pet warrior in the store was much more powerful than Yuan Tianchen. If Lin Ziqing had to choose, he would naturally choose to follow the more powerful side. Lin Ziqing bit his teeth. Eventually, he heaved a sigh because of this vexing problem. "I'll pretend I know nothing and wait till a result can come out. I don't think Mr. Yuan is letting that kid off the hook easily. That kid is a strange one. The girl with the golden hair is full of secrets." Lin Ziqing rubbed his forehead. He was in such a dilemma. Given the fact that he had risen to a high status, he wouldn't usually get this feeling. The kid had given him so much trouble. Anyway, I should send the material to him first. That punk. How dare he threaten me? FK. Lin Ziqing held out some insults but he still made the call. At the store. After Su Ping ended the call with Lin Ziqing, he grabbed Joanna and went to the cultivation site. Of course, the fact that Lin Ziqing was able to decipher so many meanings from his simple threat was not known to him. After all, Lin Ziqing was a titled battle pet warrior that could influence both the legal and illegal business. He was more sophisticated than Su Ping could ever imagine. While Su Ping headed to the cultivation site, what happened at the Elite League's venue had stirred up a huge sensation in the Longjiang base city. On TV, on the internet, everything was about that event. It was so shocking that even some people who worked all year round without any days off had found out about it. People told the story, repeated it, and soon, the news was spread across the entire Longjiang base city. People would believe it more with images, but this time, there were not only images. There were videos. 3 titled battle pet warriors died. The champion was determined. The boss of the Pixie Pet store. All those pieces of news went viral. As the main character reported in the news, Su Ping had become known all across the Longjiang base city. What he looked like, his name and other information were exposed. For a moment, everyone in the Longjiang base city learned that a mysterious talent had come out from nowhere. Nowhere! There were debates about Su Ping's age and rank. Someone claimed that he was a titled battle pet warrior. But others would refute the proof of the test. Some even questioned the manufacturing company that produced the test device. The company was not local, it was in another base city but with a branch office in the Longjiang base city. At the moment, the branch office's official website had been flooded with questions and comments. Chapter 384, Meeting at the Star Organization. The branch office never imagined that they would have to deal with so many questions and doubts, especially when none of their test devices had made a mistake ever since they were launched on the market. Soon, the branch office published an announcement on its official website to clarify this matter. First of all, there was nothing wrong with the device. The device used to test Su Ping had been recalled and inspected. Nothing was broken and nothing was wrong. A document was attached to the announcement that had many pictures and data charts related to the inspection. Those were proof that nothing was wrong with the device. Second, a statement was posted on the official website. Thus far, no secret skills existed that could fool the test device. The 2 statements had made it clear that their test device could not be blamed for anything that happened. As the company proved the quality of their device, the onlookers came to realize something stunning. So, the device was fine. Then, Su Ping was indeed at the intermediate position of the 6th rank? That conclusion was inconceivable. Once again, this piece of news raised clamors and comments. While the onlookers were still discussing and debating, some teachers went there to join in the fun. They began to analyze the possibility of a 6th rank battle pet warrior beating titled battle pet warriors from a professional point of view. Whichever way they looked at it, the conclusion was the same. It was impossible. While the entire Longjiang base city was talking about the Pixie Pet store and Su Ping, the major families had remained quiet. Whether Su Ping was at the 6th rank or not was inconsequential. Whatever the conclusion was, it would be meaningless to them. Su Ping's capacity was strong and that was a fact. He could even subdue battle pets of the 9th rank. That was enough to frighten and trouble the major families. The priority for the major families at the moment was deciding whether they should visit Su Ping's store the next day. That decision was vital to the future of their families. That night, the final results of the Elite League were announced. The champion was Su Lingyu. The runner-up was Xu Kuang. Qin Xiaotian was the 3rd place winner. The 4th and 5th place winners were Yi Longtian and Mu Yuanshou respectively. In this list, the name of Su Ping or Yang Bingyus, who had parachuted to the Longjiang base city, were nowhere to be seen. Countless people left comments and asked for an explanation on the website, and the official reply was that the 2 of them had abstained from taking part. People saw the videos. They couldn't tell what those people on the stage had whispered, but they believed that the pet store owner named Su Ping must have given up voluntarily. As for that Yang Bingyu, he dragged her away. Her life was uncertain. In fact, she had given up. Even if their names were not on the list, they were still the center of heated discussions. They had exhibited a strong ability. Many people held that they were the uncrowned 1st and 2nd place winners. That night, in a magnificent base city far, far away in the heartland of the subcontinent district, The solemn and magnificent outer wall of the base city was steep and towering, several meters high and tens of meters thick. The dun stones had been refined by special pets, sturdy and sleek. Not even a ninth-rank beast could have cracked the wall. The base city was vast and boundless. There were several districts in the base city. Each district was quite prosperous, as if it were a city within a city. Outside the base, the city used underground tunnels that held underground railways which lead to different places. At the moment, in one of the districts, unique black flags were hung outside some of the landmark buildings in the district. A swirl was printed in them, formed by 9 dark blue stars. The dark color of the flag accentuated the stars. Those were the Star Organization's flags. This entire district belonged to the Star Organization. A grand and majestic building was located right in the center of the district. Thanks to certain pets, the materials used in the building were strengthened to the maximum level. As such, the building's shape was somehow going against physical laws. The building was made of 3 parts. The bottom part was like a dragon that was lying prostrate on the ground. The middle part was the dragon's back with 2 huge hands extending upward and 10 fingers in a perfectly straight position. The fingers held a flat structure, like a mirror. That was how the building looked from a distance. There were over 100 floors in each finger with elevators inside. The glass was transparent. People could overlook the countless short buildings in the district when taking the elevators on their way up. There was an oval office on the 3rd floor of the thin and flat building above the fingers. It was the most important meeting room of the Star Organization. Inside the meeting room, whenever this meeting room was in use, it would mean that the participants were the big potatoes and the topic was a knotty problem. In this dimly lit room, 7 people sat around the oval table. The center of the table was made up of tempered glass. People could see stars moving about in it thanks to a special projection. The 7 people hid their faces in the shadows, adding to the mystery. President Zhou, what matter is so urgent that requires all of us to be here? Has the seal been moved there? 2 people posed the questions. One of the voices sounded calm and the other was of a lady. Both sounded to be in their 40s. Sitting at one end of the table was an old man with a hunched back, gray hair, and wrinkled face. Although he didn't show anger, the others regarded him with awe. I have just been informed that a star of our Star Organization has been captured, the old man slowly said. And? President Zhu's words astounded the other 6 people. The person who previously asked the first question said, "That's it? I know that educating qualified stars represents a huge investment. But that's not important enough for all of us to be summoned." "Captured by who?" the other person asked emotionlessly. That voice was so hoarse that it could freeze people's blood. The others remained silent. They believed that President Zhou would explain the matter. Take a look at this video first. The old man left the 2 questions unanswered. He swiped the table. With a flash of starlight, a virtual screen popped out at the center of the table. A video was played on the screen. It was in a competition venue and a girl was on the stage. I remember that girl. Yang something something. Right, from the training camp 5 years ago. She and her friend killed all the others in the camp. A good kid. Look at the place. Some kind of match? Is this the recent Kids League? I think so. While those people were discussing, all of a sudden, the image began to tremble as if attacked by something. Then, the lens changed to the edge of the stage. A person was standing in the air and the seal was cracked open. What? The casual expressions disappeared from their faces. If this was a venue from the Elite League, then the seal should have been set to the highest standard. He could break the seal? That was to say, he shouldn't be much weaker than them. No one was talking anymore. All of them were gazing at the image. The video went on. A long while later, half an hour later, the video ended. A hush fell in the meeting room. The silence lasted for about half a minute before someone asked in a low voice, "The rings that looked like made up of dark iron were able to pull in a battle pet at the peak of the 9th rank. Have you ever seen that type of thing before? No one replied to that question. No one had ever seen anything like that. As no one answered, the meeting room became even more silent. A moment later, President Zhou continued. I have learned that this place is a second-tier base city called Longjiang in the south. The video was sent over by a certain cross-city private company in that base city. I've sent people to pry for information. The video is authentic. This actually happened, and the event was public. Finding out the details is not that hard. He looked around and posed a question, what can you tell about the person in the video? One of the 6 answered, I have experience related to training in physical skills. I don't think this young man is a titled battle pet warrior. Besides, he must have learned a certain kind of physical skill as well. I can tell from that outburst of strength. True. I find this person's attack mode strange. It's not like what titled battle pet warriors would use. Also, I don't think Yuan Shin Group's test devices could go wrong several times in a row. Mr. Yuan is the one behind the Yuan Shin Group. He has collected many secret skills. The likelihood of a skill able to fool the test device to exist is very low. This man may very well be a rare talent that we had never found out about. A promising yet terrifying star. He is more than that. He can be more powerful than many titled battle pet warriors. He must have used some special energy when he cracked the seal if you ask me. It's a pity that the video didn't catch that. But I think the young man's own strength is at the intermediate position of the titled rank, tops. The most terrifying thing about him is his battle pet, the skeleton. Agreed. I have never seen a skeleton like that. It should be an unknown kind. Judging by its strength and the skills the skeleton used, it should have strength at the peak of the 9th rank. But the legendary rank skill the skeleton used to teleport is a tricky one. The skeleton can use that skill and easily kill average titled battle pet warriors, unless the titled battle pet warrior masters a legendary skill as well. But such titled battle pet warriors are few and far between, like us. A 6th rank talent who practices physical skills but is able to launch an attack with strength close to the peak of the titled rank, who also has a skeleton and an inferno dragon that seems to be just as terrifying, which has gone through special training. How can such a person remain in a second-tier base city? President Zhou listened to their comments for a while before he said, I summoned you not because of the young man nor the skeleton, but the person behind him. The 6 changed expressions. He was right. The young man was outstanding. Were it not for the video that had captured everything, they wouldn't have believed the story. That being said, the person they should be afraid of was the one behind the young man. Could it be that a legendary battle pet warrior was supporting and helping this young talent? Still, as far as they knew, no legendary battle pet warrior of this subcontinent district would go to that base city to train. They knew all the talents that the 2 legendary battle pet warriors meant to cultivate, and they had warned their people not to mess up with those talents. As for legendary battle pet warriors from other subcontinent districts, it was unlikely that they would visit this subcontinent district. Even if they wanted to, the 2 legendary battle pet warriors wouldn't allow it. President Zhou, are you saying that one of us should go and sound him out? A person asked. The others seemed to be surprised by the question. But President Zhou nodded. He looked around and said, the young man and the skeleton alone are not enough to scare us, but we'll have to suffer in silence if there's a legendary battle pet warrior behind this. On the other hand, a glint of coldness glowed in his eyes. Anyone who humiliates the Star Organization must be punished with death. The others agreed in silence. The young man dragged Yang Bingyu away. That was a slap on the Star Organization's face. They believed that this news would spread out quickly and other major forces would find out. The legendary battle pet warrior who founded the organization had passed away. When such news broke out, other major forces probably belittled the Star Organization. But if a legendary battle pet warrior were supporting this young man, it would be another story altogether. That would make it a business between legendary battle pet warriors. No one would laugh at the Star Organization even if they dealt with the situation in a cowardly manner. After all, a legendary battle pet warrior was not someone to be provoked. The young man killed all the others, leaving merely the young girl alive. He must be ready for us to pay him a visit, a middle-aged man said. Let's find out more first. President Zhou glanced over the six and landed his gaze on one of them. King of Arms, you're always able to keep calm. How about I let you take care of this matter? The man called King of Arms was bulky. He nodded. No problem, he answered after thinking for a moment. President Zhou breathed in relief. If there were a legendary battle pet warrior involved, apologize. We will acknowledge defeat. If not, do not rush into anything, either. This young man alone can compete with you. We have yet to see him display his full strength. Maybe he is hiding something else, or maybe there's someone like him lurking around. You can send a message back. When our star organization goes for the kill, our actions must be overwhelming and we have to have the upper hand. Do you understand? President Zhou, don't worry. I know what to do. The King of Arms nodded. Aha! The old man nodded. He was very reassured after letting the King of Arms handle the matter. The rest of them only added words of caution for the King of Arms. They spent the remaining time talking about something else. The meeting ended an hour later and everyone went their separate ways. They all had jobs of their own. Chapter 385. The Tang family takes action. In another grand base city in the heartland of the subcontinent district, there was a prosperous region where a large garden was grown. The garden's appearance resembled an old mansion. The guards standing by the gate wore golden armor. Standing by the guards were 8th-rank battle pets, flame-winged tigers. This was a kind of battle pet of the fire family that also had 1/3 of the demon bloodline. It was said that the most talented flame-winged tigers could learn some skills of the demon family. The armor's chest plate was engraved with the mark of a golden sword in the shape of an umbrella. Everyone in the base city knew that the mark was a sign of the ocean umbrella, the family heirloom of the Tang family. The garden housed a small city. The garden was fully equipped. It had battle stadiums, simulation halls, playgrounds for battle pets, among other amenities. The living quarters had many buildings of antique beauty. In the innermost depths of the garden was the most majestic building. 5 people were sitting in the hall with some guards and maids standing in line. The middle-aged man sitting in the seat of honor said coldly, "I have learned of Ruyan's whereabouts." He sat there, elegant and poised. With big eyes and bushy eyebrows, the man had an impressive and dignified air about him. The faces of the other 4 were clouded. Was it the doing of another family? Is she alive or not? I heard that the Sichu family also went to the mysterious realm. Was it them? The middle-aged man said, while squinting his eyes. She's still alive. I can basically rule out the possibility of a plot from another family. Ruyan is currently imprisoned in a regular base city in the south. Someone has seen her many times in a pet store there. She is actually waitressing at the pet store. The 4 were astounded. They had so many things to ask. Their future family head was in a pet store, working as a waitress? They couldn't even begin to imagine that. If it weren't for the fact that their family head kept a straight face, they would have thought that he was making a joke. Are you sure? An old man asked in surprise. The middle-aged man shook his head. I have pictures and I have confirmed the information. It is true. She's trapped in that store and is unable to leave. I had already sent people to investigate the store before I called you over, but it didn't go well. The pet store is mysterious. It is said that a titled battle pet warrior is in the store. Besides, I learned that the store even has an inferno dragon. The people I sent over disclosed the fact they were from the Tang family. However, the local government refused to cooperate. The mayor personally offered advice, clearly warning us not to offend the people running the store. A titled battle pet warrior in the store. To avoid offending them? The 4 were unable to believe this. The fact that a titled battle pet warrior was in a pet store was uncommon, but it wasn't strange. After all, some battle pet warriors had to run some business to earn money. But what was wrong with the mayor? Why would he tell them not to provoke a pet store? Did he tell them not to do that? Them, the Tang family, one of the 4 most important families of the subcontinent district. Truth be told, they had the power to destroy that base city. How could the mayor tell them not to provoke a pet store? I think our Tang family has been too focused on the heartland of the subcontinent district that we have forgotten about minding the borders. An old man suddenly heaved a sigh. Some base cities have forgotten about our name. I didn't realize that our influence has dropped to this level in that region. An elderly lady pulled a long face. She had basically lost all of her teeth. The people from that backward place are so green and inexperienced. For an inferno dragon to scare them so. Yes, inferno dragons are rare, but the store only has one. If it weren't for the fact that we cannot take the ocean umbrella away from the family estate, we would be able to show the world that the Tang family can hunt and kill battle pets of the legendary rank. What a sorry bunch. 2 people shook their heads, sneering. They felt ridiculous and disappointed at the same time. During the recent years, the Tang family had finally gained a firm foothold in the heartland of the subcontinent district while not realizing that people no longer respected them near the borders. If Tang Ruyan would have been taken to other base cities in the heartland, they would have received a message from the very beginning. To be exact, it would be much more than a message. The mayors would escort Tang Ruyan back in person with respect. However, the mayor of that remote base city told them not to provoke that pet store. What did this mean? So, the future family head of the Tang family was supposed to stay there? Such foolish-sounding words made them laugh, but they also angered them at the same time. Sir, I will go and fetch Lady Ruyan. An elder man stood up. A glint of coldness glowed in his eyes. I will also teach that base city a lesson so that they know who we are. Yes. Those country bumpkins must have thought we are like one of their shabby, impoverished small families. The others agreed. The middle-aged man refrained from answering. He was still thinking. A moment later, he said to the elderly man, "We know next to nothing about the store. But that person was able to kidnap Ruyan from the mysterious realm without leaving a trace. We have investigated Longtai Mountain but found no clues. The person is likely at the upper position or the peak of the titled rank. Besides, Ruyan is not being imprisoned, she can walk around in the store. The person must know about her identity and still dares to humiliate her in public, completely unafraid of her being seen. Either that person knows nothing about us, or he doesn't fear us. Judging by the current situation, I am leaning toward the second possibility. After all, a person at the upper position or the peak of the titled rank must know something about our Tang family." Once he finished speaking, the other 4 dialed down their anger and began to think. They were just mad about the warning issued by the mayor of that base city. As they refocused their minds on the store, they realized many things couldn't be explained. Why did that person leave Tang Ruyan in the store to receive customers if he had kidnapped her? Wasn't he afraid that people would eventually recognize her? As for being unafraid of the Tang family, that was quite unlikely. Not even the other 3 important families would dare to imprison Tang Ruyan in such an imposing manner. That would be a declaration of war. The more they thought about it, the stranger the situation was for them. They eventually arrived at 2 conclusions. Either the store hid unknown powers or the store owner was extremely arrogant and stupid. The second explanation made the most sense. After all, there was a fair share of stupid people in the world. While they didn't like the first conclusion, they knew they had to be prepared. Because if it did turn out that the store had some unknown powers, they would have to be ready for the possible severe consequences. "Let me go, then," an elder man said. "And me. As a matter of fact, the 3 of us will go together. I don't think we will find 3 at the peak of the titled rank in that one store," the almost toothless elderly lady said. While she was a lady, her temper fuse was even shorter than those of the 2 old men. The middle-aged man thought about it. He nodded. "Okay. I will have 2 other titled battle pet warriors go with you. Take a look first and send a message back when you find something. I'll give you some chips so that you can make cross-continent calls. We will send in reinforcements if you find anything wrong. The three nodded, but they didn't understand why their family head was making such a big fuss. The three of them were more than enough to deal with one pet store. They would become a joke if they needed more reinforcements. But their family head had always been prudent and cautious. They also believed that it would be too risky if one of them were to go alone. The store might have a titled battle pet warrior at the peak. Besides, they were heading to a place they had no control over. Any one of them going alone could end up in danger. The worst outcome would be the inability to get Tang Ruyan back. Ruyan is just a mask, but the public thinks she is our future family head. Anyways, ensure her safety. That way, other families will be more convinced that she's our future family head. On the other hand, sacrificing Ruyan is okay if that store uses her life to threaten you and endanger your life. The middle-aged man said to the three, "You three are the valuable assets of the Tang family. You cannot let anything happen to you." The three of them seemed touched. Of course, inwardly, they had different thoughts. He could easily give up on Tang Ruyan only because she had less value than them. It wasn't because their relationship was close. The Tang family was not built or sustained on close relationships, but interests. Those who were useful to the family would be valued. Those who were useless would be abandoned, even if they were true children of the Tang family. That seemed cold-blooded, but that had always been how things were done in the Tang family, and one of the reasons why the Tang family was able to remain prosperous. Running based on relationships would have soon corrupted the Tang family, because the useless people would occupy high positions just because they were born in the immediate family, while the valuable people would have to stay at the bottom. As such, although they understood what their family head was thinking, the three still felt a bit glad. The kind of families they were afraid of were the ones that would abandon the useful people. Those families were the actual jerks. "Sir, don't you worry. We will try our best to bring her back," the three promised. The middle-aged man nodded. "Then, we will take our leave now. Since we're going to demonstrate our powers, I put forward the request to take a feather army and a tactic army," one of them said. "Sure." The middle-aged man nodded. They had to keep up appearances. Chapter 386, 9.9. The next day, Su Ping returned from the demigod burial. In reality, only one afternoon and a night had passed, but he had already spent half a month in the demigod burial. There was an evident change in him. His energy had become more awe-inspiring, and his mindset was more determined. Also, he had progressed further in his level of handsomeness. His stubble had grown out again. Su Ping had done many things during the half a month in the demigod burial. First of all, he used the strength enhancement astral runes to refine his entire body. At the moment, his arm wasn't the only part that could wield twice the strength. Besides, he had also refined the Dark Dragon Hound, the Inferno Dragon, and the Purple Python, increasing their combat strengths again. It was disappointing that the Inferno Dragon and the Dark Dragon Hound's combat strengths were still stuck at 9.9, 10 was still out of reach. Before the strength enhancement, their combat strengths were already at 9.9 and it stayed the same after the strength enhancement. Su Ping didn't know how many more decimal points were behind the 9. The only thing he could think of was that the scoring system was messing around with him. Aside from this, Su Ping took them to endure 2 more rounds of Heaven's tests during those 2 weeks. The thundercloud kept on growing in size when Su Ping, the Dark Dragon Hound, and the Inferno Dragon joined in. This time, Su Ping had the Purple Python try the Calamity as well. But since the Purple Python had yet to pick up a flying skill, the Inferno Dragon would always have to throw the Purple Python to the Heavens test area. That was the Inferno Dragon's favorite leisure activity when it was resting. After some efforts, torture, the Purple Python's combat strength had been improved to 9.8, approaching the peak of the 9th rank. It could be considered as a more powerful pet at the upper position of the 9th rank. When they weren't taking Heaven's tests, while he was free, Su Ping would also learn the Astral Seal from Joanna, but a simplified version. The complete version was too intricate and had higher requirements in regards to cultivation ranks. Given the amount of astral power Su Ping had, he could hardly learn the complete version. The simplified version could be used to seal astral powers of people below the legendary rank, which was enough for the time being. Also, Su Ping would chat with some guards at the True God Realm or the Celestial God Realm. Among other things, he would learn about weapon-using skills for spears and swords. He didn't get into the details, but his learning did cover many aspects. Su Ping was still on the lookout for the most suitable weapon. If he had to pick one, his fist was probably his best choice. Maybe he had never been crazy about weapons because the fist of exorcist. He preferred to rely on his fists. Those pets are at the 6th rank. When their combat strengths reach 10, the rating of their aptitude will probably be above average. By then, training for advanced pets will be available in the store, Su Ping thought. Currently, the training services in the store could no longer fulfill his needs. That was why he was in such a hurry to improve the Inferno Dragon and the Dark Dragon Hound. With the Rule of Thunder, the Strength Enhancement, and every other means he could think of, he had been trying to improve the Inferno Dragon and the Dark Dragon Hound, but their combat strengths remained at 9.9. He thought he either had to drag them to more Heavens tests or he would have to rely on some sudden stimulus that could give them a push. For the time being, the Heavens test was the only way. Maybe, after 1 or 2 rounds, their combat strengths could reach 10. This was not a matter that could be rushed into. Su Ping returned to the store. It was already past 9 in the morning. He cleared his mind, told Joanna to get ready and sorted out the pets that had finished training so that he could return those pets to the customers when they arrived. He went to shave and get refreshed. He looked into the mirror and was very happy about confirming his handsome looks. Then he went back to the storefront and opened the scroll from which 2 girls jumped out. "Get ready for business," Su Ping said to Tang Ruyan. Then he coldly said to Yang Bingyu, "This doesn't concern you. Go back inside." Yang Bingyu was furious. She darted a look at Tang Ruyan which only had a meaning they could understand. "Don't forget me if you can escape." Tang Ruyan understood the meaning. "Since we're so busy in the store, how about we let her help? I'm swamped as it is." She thought she could give Yang Bingyu a hand. Su Ping cast her a glance that seemed to reach the depths of her mind. Tang Ruyan felt her heart skip a beat. "Then hurry up. Don't waste energy on this petty niggling." Tang Ruyan was afraid to say anything else. Yang Bingyu had no other option but to go back to the scroll. Su Ping put away the scroll. "You have 5 minutes to get ready. We're opening the doors." Without Yang Bingyu there, Tang Ruyan switched into waitress mode. She nodded and hurried to the bathroom to wash up. Su Ping found his notebook and got prepared. The door had not opened, but he could tell that there was a huge crowd outside. After the commotion from the day prior, he believed that the store had surely become famous. More customers would visit them. "I wonder if the 5 major families will send people today." Su Ping squinted his eyes. He didn't open the door immediately. While Tang Ruyan was washing up, he went online to search for news in the base city. 1 night had passed in the base city. However, the passing of a day seemed like a long time, since he had stayed in the demigod burial for half a month. Soon, he saw many pieces of news posted on the internet. All the news was about the pet store and him. Su Ping browsed through the news one by one. Soon, he had gained a complete picture of the situation outside. The Elite League had ended. The event from the day prior had brought more fame to the store than he had expected. Fame didn't only come to the store. He had gone viral as well. That was completely unexpected to Su Ping. Well, killing those people was worthwhile, Su Ping thought. Yang Bingyu would be hopping mad if she ever found out what Su Ping was thinking. As Su Ping browsed through all the pieces of news, Tang Ruyan had finished freshening up. There were a group of people that were flawlessly beautiful and didn't require any makeup. They would be breathtakingly pretty when they had merely washed their faces. Tang Ruyan belonged to this group. Of course, Su Ping would only eye her as anyone else and he could find nothing special about her. "Go and open the door," Su Ping said as he put away his phone. Tang Ruyan went to open the door. She had become quite familiar with the daily routine. Outside was a huge crowd of customers. Those closer to the door were standing in a line, but those further away were scattered around. There were some reporters present with their equipment as if trying to shoot some videos. Everyone looked over when the door opened. They stared at the open door in a daze and rushed to the front the next second. Those at the front of the line were almost pushed away by those running over. The young man at the head of the line was pushed into Tang Ruyan's arms. The moment that happened, the young man's nose bled. He could not believe this good, romantic luck that came his way. Then, she pressed her hands on his face. Reality taught the young man a good lesson. Tang Ruyan squeezed his face to stop him from advancing any. While looking at the messy crowd, Tang Ruyan took a deep breath and shouted, "Silence!" As a 7th-rank battle pet warrior, her voice immediately quieted everyone down. Her voice echoed in everyone's ears, stunning them into stillness. Many people were surprised to find how strong the girl was. Same as before, stand in a line and come in one by one. Don't blame me if I get violent when any of you tries elbowing your way in. Tang Ruyan let go of the young man's face and wiped the blood-stained hand on his shoulder. Those who didn't stand in line looked at each other. They only found out at the moment that they did have to queue first. A middle-aged man looked around and said, "Miss, I am an 8th-rank battle pet warrior. Can you let him?" I said, "Line up. Can't you hear me? Are you deaf?" Tang Ruyan glared at him. The middle-aged man was speechless. The others close to the middle-aged man stared at him in surprise. Unexpectedly, this bold man was an 8th-rank battle pet warrior. It was a good thing that they didn't anger him. As Tang Ruyan required, everyone stood in line. As the crowd was brought under control, the anger on Tang Ruyan's face shifted to a smile in 1 second. She said to the young man who was still wiping blood off his nose, "Sir, welcome. Please come in." That sudden change of attitude left everyone dumbfounded. The young man was also baffled. He scratched his head, smiled embarrassingly, and followed her into the store. "This way, please. Take your time." Tang Ruyan wore a professional smile. Chapter 387, Arrival. Under Tang Ruyan's guidance, the customers went into the store one by one. Su Ping opened his notebook and wrote down the customers' information as usual. The customers who were discussing excitedly about the store. They became as mute as fish out of fear saw when they saw Su Ping behind the counter. After the things that happened in the finals, Su Ping's video had gone viral on the internet and his face was known to everyone. There was no mistake. This was the guy who killed 3 titled battle pet warriors. The new customers were shocked into silence and some recurrent customers were a bit nervous as well. They had seen Su Ping many times but they didn't think much about him in the past. Things had changed after that day. Su Ping was a horrifying guy who could kill titled battle pet warriors. Whichever rank he was at, his strength had proven to be powerful. He should be held as an equal to the titled battle pet warriors. Silence fell in the store. Everyone was standing in line and no one talked, not even in whispers. Every business deal was carried out in silence. Su Ping could tell that things were a bit weird but there was nothing he could do. He didn't make any comments to that and kept on noting down information as usual. All of a sudden, Su Ping felt he might have instilled too much fear when he noticed how stressed out the customers were. Even so, there was nothing he could say. Soon, the customers left the store one by one. Some customers required their advanced pets to be trained and yet Su Ping had to politely reject them. He would become even more anxious every time a person asked for that service. He was eager to add that service in the store. The day's business deals were efficient since everyone stood quietly as they waited. In merely 2 hours, Joanna went to inform Su Ping that all the spots had been taken. Su Ping checked the income of the day. Indeed, the amount of money indicated that no more places were available. He told the customers that business was over for the day, but they could return the next day. The customers at the back of the line were unhappy that the store was closing this soon. Still no one said anything since they remembered what Su Ping did the other day. They heaved a sigh and left. Some repeated customers had become used to this business pattern. The new customers, on the other hand, was surprised that a store would turn down any money-making business. After he closed the doors, Su Ping found a whiteboard and wrote down how many pets he could receive every day and the business hours. But he wiped the business hours away. He had to go to a cultivation site to cultivate and train the pets. Sometimes, he had to stay longer, and sometimes, he could come back early. He couldn't say a specific time unless he opened the door in the afternoon from then on. After all, no matter how late he had to stay in the cultivation site, he would always return in the afternoon the next day. He placed the whiteboard outside and went back in to put away his notebook. It was noon. He wondered about what to do for lunch. Someone else entered the store while he was thinking about lunch. Brother Su. It was Venerable the Blade. Venerable the Blade was dressed weirdly. He put on was a custom-made plaid shirt, a vintage peaked cap, and a pair of ripped jeans. This should be the outfit for a fashion icon. Su Ping was surprised by this outfit, which didn't seem to be Venerable the Blade style. Where's your skeleton? Venerable the Blade Leng Yingjun asked about Su Ping's battle pet as soon as he came into the door. He was more interested in the skeleton than in Su Ping. Su Ping had guessed that Venerable the Blade was there to teach the little skeleton. However, in the demigod burial, the little skeleton had learned better saber skills. After all, the little skeleton's weakest teacher in the demigod burial was at the legendary rank and sometimes at the celestial god realm. He no longer needed Venerable the Blade as the teacher. It is resting, Su Ping said. He didn't take the little skeleton to the cultivation site with him in the recent outings. The little skeleton should have almost digested the bloodline of the Skeleton King by then. He supposed that the little skeleton would finish it during the next couple of days, and it would possess the bloodline of a Skeleton King. As such, the little skeleton's aptitude rating would drop a bit more. Venerable the Blade smiled. I saw many people outside. You had a good day at the store today. True. The Elite League has just ended. I did some promotion. Brother Su, you have a very acute business sense. Aha. Have you had lunch yet? Not yet. Come and have lunch with me. Sure. Su Ping invited Venerable the Blade to join him for lunch back at home. Su Ping grabbed Tang Ruyan as well. Tang Ruyan was zoning out. Venerable the Blade? She was confused. She never thought she could see such a big potato in Su Ping's store. Venerable the Blade had visited several times, but Tang Ruyan had usually been in the scroll, so she had never seen him pay a visit. However, she had seen him in the mysterious realm. She had learned about Venerable the Blade even before she went to the mysterious realm. Venerable the Blade was a titled battle pet warrior who was famous across the entire subcontinent district. The Tang family had even thought about recruiting him at a huge cost. But since Venerable the Blade was working for a legendary battle pet warrior, the Tang family had to give up. Having come back to her senses, Tang Ruyan could not help but ask gingerly, Are you Mr. Leng? Venerable the Blade looked at her. Few people knew about his surname. As an important person, his information was classified and was not a search away on the internet. You look a bit familiar. Are you from the Tang family? Venerable the Blade soon recognized her. The future family head of the Tang family was in Su Ping's store? Was there some connection between Su Ping and the Tang family? Yes. Tang Ruyan was so excited that she teared up. Venerable the Blade, can you please take me away? She asked in a hurry. Take you away? Venerable the Blade was baffled. Tang Ruyan stepped to Venerable the Blade so that Su Ping couldn't hear her. Sir, he's keeping me imprisoned here. Can you take me back to the Tangs? We will reward you greatly. Venerable the Blade was even more puzzled. Imprisoned? He turned around, only to see that Su Ping did not seem to be worried at all, which only added to his puzzlement. This guy is holding her captive? The future family head of the Tang family? Why could she openly stay in the store if this was imprisonment? Sorry. Venerable the Blade turned her down. Tang Ruyan was not surprised. She remembered when Venerable the Blade and Su Ping were talking. Tang Ruyan turned a bit pale once she realized that the two seemed to be quite close. Venerable the Blade, I promise you that the Tang family will forget any past misdeeds as long as you can take me away. I promise. Venerable the Blade replied with a forced smile. What could the Tang family do? Even Yuan Tianchen had almost lost his life there. Your Tang family would only seek trouble for themselves. Besides, he seemed to be a free man, but he was also imprisoned by Su Ping in a way, because he had to go and teach the skeleton every week. It was just that he was enjoying the teaching, so he no longer viewed it as imprisonment. I really cannot do that. I think you should beg Brother Su, Venerable the Blade said. Tang Ruyan was stunned still. She had exposed her identity and Venerable the Blade was still taking Su Ping's side. Was she less important than Su Ping? Or, the two were closer than she had thought. Frustrated, Tang Ruyan turned to Su Ping. He looked at her from the corner of his eye. You must have enough strength to say that many words. You don't have to come to lunch. Stay here. With that said, he put away his notebook and said to Venerable the Blade, let's go. Tang Ruyan was speechless. How could she know that asking for help would cost her lunch? No wonder that guy is always fearless. Turns out he has found himself a sugar daddy. Tang Ruyan filed her teeth as the two stepped away. Su Ping slammed the door shut and locked Tang Ruyan inside. Outside the store, Su Ping saw many people lingering close by. They were all from different media. Su Ping frowned but said nothing to the media. He and Venerable the Blade walked away. The media wanted to interview Su Ping but were afraid to do so. Su Ping had already left while they were still hesitating. Back home, Su Ping told his mom to cook some extra dishes. Li Qingru was happy to have guests. Su Ping saw that Wu Guanxing was there as well, teaching Su Lingyu about healing skills. Venerable the Blade saw Wu Guanxing as well. A glint of bitterness flashed past the former's eyes. Wu Guanxing remembered the deal between Venerable the Blade and Su Ping as well. The two of them exchanged some small talks. Lunch was ready. Su Ping told them to wash their hands and sit down for lunch. Su Ping casually introduced Venerable the Blade to his mother but skipped mentioning the title. He simply used his name, Leng Yingjun. Li Qingru regarded this fashionable Mr. Leng as a model. After all, Venerable the Blade was fit. Li Qingru's misunderstanding almost made Wu Guanxing choke on his food. As they were approaching the end of their lunch, they heard a noise coming from outside. A gust of wind was swept across the street. Su Ping picked up some food and held his bowl while he went outside. At the door, he saw a shadow cast onto the street by a huge bird hovering in the sky. Chapter 388, The Zhou Family Arrives. A golden-crowned eagle, at the upper position of the 9th rank. Its wingspan could reach over 100 meters. The gale stirred up dust on the ground. The owners of other stores on the street ran to their doors in a panic and looked up at the sky. The reporters gathered by the store stared dumbfounded at the bird and hurried to use their cameras to film the scene. Su Ping could tell that there was a human on the back of the bird, which meant that the bird was a tamed pet. He covered his bowl with his hand so that the dust would not fall on his food. He was about to say something when a person jumped off from the bird, or flew down. That person was holding a metal container and he was flying toward the store. Su Ping suddenly realized that this had to be the material he asked from Lin Ziqing. So soon? First, Lin Ziqing claimed that he could only make the delivery the day after the next. It seemed that nagging worked. Su Ping grabbed a bite, gathered some astral powers to cover the bowl, and used Thunder Sprint to dash to the store. The person with the container was a strong, middle-aged man. He was wearing sunglasses and a suit. He was about to knock when he noticed something. He turned around, only to see a person in slippers and a white sleeveless t-shirt coming to him with a bowl of food in his hands. A second before, he was 100 meters away. He had arrived in the next second. Thunder Sprint? The person wearing the sunglasses was taken aback. Are you Lin Ziqing's man? Su Ping asked. The middle-aged man was surprised, hearing this person address Lin Ziqing directly. Soon, he recognized that this was Su Ping, the one Lin Ziqing had told him about. He had seen Su Ping's pictures. Before making the trip, Lin Ziqing specifically told him to treat Su Ping politely. By no means could he displease the young man. The middle-aged man sized up the young but failed to see anything special about him. The young man's rank seemed to be average. However, the speed he had been able to reach just then was amazing. It didn't appear to match with the young man's rank. How unique. That is correct. The middle-aged man nodded. You must be Mr. Su Ping. Lord Lin told me to hand-deliver this to you. Yes, I'm Su Ping. Su Ping was glad that this man was indeed Lin Ziqing's man. Finally, the last material he needed for the solar bulwark was there. He could officially finish the first level. Open the door. Su Ping thought in his mind, and the door was open. Come inside. Su Ping held the bowl and stepped in. He saw Tang Ruyan was sitting on the sofa, eating the ice cream from the fridge that he had bought on purpose. Here? Tang Ruyan felt guilty when Su Ping showed up right when she was just having a bite of ice cream. Soon, her attention was caught by the man in the black suit. The man was showing his energy without any disguise. She was familiar with that. The titled battle pet warriors in her family were like him. Another titled battle pet warrior? Open the container, Su Ping said. While he was sure that Lin Ziqing would not fool him, he had to inspect the item nonetheless. The man in the black suit nodded. When he entered the store, he darted a glance around the place, curious about the store that even Lin Ziqing was afraid of. But he failed to notice anything uncommon. It was just a spacious store with beautiful decorations. As for the girl eating ice cream, the man in the black suit looked past her. Sure. The man in the black suit carefully put the container on the table and opened the coded lock. A puff of cold air escaped the container. Su Ping took a look and confirmed that it was indeed what he had asked for. Close the container, Su Ping said. He wasn't going to use it at the moment. The man in the black suit said, I will excuse myself if that's all right with you. Sure. The man in the black suit bid farewell and left the store. His eyebrows were knitted together when he saw all the media outside. He was about to fly back to the Golden-Crowned Eagle when a car drove by the street and pulled over close to the store's entrance. Two people stepped out. Both were titled battle pet warriors. The man in the black suit was shocked. It never occurred to him that he would be able to meet two titled battle pet warriors so easily, especially on such a crappy street in that remote base city. When he was looking down from the sky, he saw that the environment on the street and the neighboring streets was quite harsh. The road was full of bumps and hollows. Only this store had a decent look. The two people who got out of the car were surprised to see the man in the black suit who was also standing by the store's door. They could feel that this man was at the intermediate position of the titled rank and he wasn't trying to hide it. He was wearing a suit. He wasn't a greeter from the store, was he? Confused, the two moved through the crowd. The reporters in the vicinity seemed to be greatly surprised to see them. Some of the more seasoned reporters were even afraid. They recognized that those two were from the Zhou family. Both were at the titled rank. Dozens of years back, the two were men often mentioned in the news from the upper class of the Longjiang base city. Almost all the wealthy and influential people back then knew of the two. At their birthday parties, many people would still attend and bear presents. Those were the big potatoes. People who could do whatever they wanted in the city. Some of the news reporters were more focused on the car, which was a standard model for explorers with the best settings. To have a car like that, one would have to be a top-level explorer, and besides, one would have to have the money and connections. There were less than 20 of those cars in the entire Longjiang base city. 20 might sound like a big number, but considering that the Longjiang base city had tens of millions of people and with the sheer number of the rich, 20 cars were far from enough. The crowd stepped to the sides to make way for the two. No one dared to stand in their way. The two stepped up the staircase. When they saw the dragon statue outside the door, both felt nervous, as if a beast was staring at them. They had seen the store in videos many times, but this was the first time they had been there in person. The two dragon statues were very much lifelike. This sensation was not conveyed through the videos. The higher one's rank was, The more nervous one would be when looking at the two dragon statues. "Is Mr. Su in?" one of the two asked the man in the black suit. He thought the latter was a greeter. It wasn't surprising to see Su Ping use a battle pet warrior at the intermediate position of the titled rank as a greeter. The man in the black suit was surprised. He knew that they were asking for Su Ping. The two titled battle pet warriors had to be at the upper position because he felt pressure in front of them. They were both there for Su Ping? The man in the black suit nodded. Among battle pet warriors, those with stronger power should be honored. The man in the black suit said politely, "Mr. Su is inside." "Mr. Su?" Baffled, the two from the Zhou family eyed the man oddly. This man didn't seem to know Su Ping well. In the meantime, Su Ping had placed the metal container in the pet room and closed the door. Without his permission, no one could enter the pet room. That was the safest place there was. "Well?" Su Ping sensed someone had stopped by the door. One of the two seemed familiar. He remembered that it was Zhu Tianguang, an elder of the Zhou family. He still remembered Zhu Tianguang. He was kind of a cornerstone in the Zhou family. The other man, though, Su Ping didn't know him. "Why isn't Zhu Tianlin here?" Su Ping asked. The two old men put on smiles at once. "Our family head is stuck in some business and he specifically told us to come together. Here is a small present for you to show our goodwill." Then, Zhu Tianguang handed Su Ping a rectangle box. The steel pattern on the outside looked exquisite. Su Ping raised his eyebrows. He had invited the family head, but the family head was scared to show up and only sent over two elders. The Zhou family was surely trying to fool him. He couldn't wait to see what the present was, and whether it was a worthwhile replacement for the family head. "What is that?" Su Ping asked directly. Su Ping didn't even beat around the bush a bit. Inwardly, Zhu Tianguang wore a bitter smile on the inside, but he didn't dare to show disrespect. He opened the box with a smile, revealing two tubes with red liquid. 2 tubes of dragon blood. Zhu Tianguang explained solemnly, seemingly unwilling to give that away. "The blood is not from common dragons, but from legendary rank dragons. Mr. Su, you have the Inferno Dragon. This blood is the most useful for its kind. I hope that your dragon can grow stronger and stronger, able to display even more power." Su Ping was disappointed. Blood of dragons at the legendary rank? True, this was useful and could surely improve the Inferno Dragon's rank. The thing was, though, he didn't want that. He had to find a way to stop the Inferno Dragon's rank from growing. Only when the Inferno Dragon reached a combat strength of 10 could it be at the 6th rank, and rated as above average. With that, he could offer a training service for advanced pets in the store. Besides, if he wanted dragon blood, he could go to the demigod burial. With Joanna's help, he could get better dragon blood. Zhu Tianlin and the other elders were unable to believe that they would see disappointment on Su Ping's face. The man in the black suit had not left yet. He was shocked by Zhu Tianlin's words. Blood of dragons at the legendary rank? Did he give that to the young man? Tang Ruyan was just as stunned. She didn't even notice that the ice cream had melted on her hand. The two titled battle pet warriors had paid a visit to give Su Ping things to butter him up? Who was this guy exactly? Chapter 389, 5 Families Gathered. Tang Ruyan realized that she had never gotten to know Su Ping before. "I tried my best to overestimate you and I ended up underestimating you." That was exactly how Tang Ruyan was feeling. First, a titled battle pet warrior came to deliver something to Su Ping, and then 2 titled battle pet warriors came to give Su Ping a present, and Venerable the Blade was close to him. The more she thought about it, the more baffled she was. "Nothing else?" Su Ping asked. Zhu Tianguang and the old man gazed at each other in speechless despair. The 2 vials of dragon blood from a legendary rank specimen were incredibly valuable. How could Su Ping be unhappy? "Well, Mr. Su, what do you need?" Pushing down his anger, Zhu Tianguang smiled. Su Ping was a man who could overwhelm an entire family on his own. No matter what Su Ping said, they couldn't argue with him. Their only option was to pander to him. I don't need dragon blood. Take it back and get me something else, Su Ping said. The two were speechless. Tang Ruyan stared at him, open-mouthed. He doesn't want the dragon blood? Dragon blood is an invaluable asset for dragon owners. Su Ping did appear to genuinely dislike the dragon blood. The two from the Zhou family were puzzled. Well, okay. Zhou Tianguang conceded. Inwardly, he was feeling awkward. Something else? It was difficult to find something that could equal the dragon's blood. The only thing that could compete with the dragon's blood would be something that even their family found rare. But that was a family heirloom. They couldn't give that away. What trouble? Since you're here, take a seat. Wait till the others get here and let's have a meeting, Su Ping said. He didn't put on airs. Being the first to arrive, the Zhou family had shown more sincerity compared to the other families. Besides, dragon blood was rare indeed. He would want it badly if it weren't for the cultivation sites. He didn't know where the Zhou family had come across it, but they must have gone through tremendous troubles. Sure. Mr. Su, I see you're still having lunch. Apologies for having arrived at a bad time. The two were relieved that Su Ping had not acted in a hostile manner. They tried to strike up a casual conversation. Su Ping nodded and said to Tang Ruyan, "Take care of them and don't wander away. I'm gonna go and finish my lunch. I'll be back in a moment." Tang Ruyan agreed with a yes. Only till then did the two from the Zhou family notice Tang Ruyan, who seemed to be familiar. Zhou Tianguang thought of something. Surprise came into his eyes. But he soon covered up his surprise with a natural look. Su Ping was about to go home when he saw the man in the black suit still standing by the door. "Do you need anything else?" No. Oh. Su Ping said nothing else and shuffled away. To his dismay, Su Ping found that only a few meat dishes were left on the table. Those people were all meat lovers. That guy came to make the delivery at such a bad time. Doesn't he know that noon is when people have lunch? What's happening outside? Venerable the Blade asked after Su Ping came back. Both he and Wu Guansheng had sensed the existence of titled battle pet warriors. Nothing. I ordered something and the delivery guy just arrived, Su Ping answered. Venerable the Blade and Wu Guansheng looked at each other. They could tell it wasn't that simple. Su Ping didn't elaborate. He swallowed his lunch quickly. The others had already put down their bowls. He took a look at Su Lingyue's hand. The new hand was growing, but slowly. The new hand looked like a kid's hand, short, chubby, and kind of adorable. Wu Guansheng's healing skill could help a severed limb grow back, let alone a hand. "Ma, I have to go back to the store." Su Ping stood up. "Okay. Be nice to the customers," his mom said the usual words. Su Ping left at once. Venerable the Blade followed Su Ping. He said goodbye to Li Qingru, Wu Guansheng, and Su Lingyu, then headed to the store after Su Ping. The man in the black suit had flown away on the golden-crowned eagle. Su Ping went through the doors with Venerable the Blade, only to see that Tang Ruyan was chatting happily with the two from the Zhou family. Tang Ruyan stopped the conversation abruptly and smiled an embarrassing smile at Su Ping when he walked in. Su Ping only gave her a sideways glance. The two from the Zhou family sitting on the couch noticed that Su Ping had arrived. They turned around to see him. That look left them rooted on the spot. Venerable the Blade. The two were in a daze for a second before they stood up in shock. Venerable the Blade was connected to the store? What they heard from the Mu family was true. The two were unable to believe it. Venerable the Blade was a titled battle pet warrior, well known in the entire subcontinent district. It was beyond logic and above reason that he would be in this small store. Venerable the Blade didn't know that two more titled battle pet warriors had paid Su Ping's store a visit while they were away. But the two were not people that he knew. Venerable the Blade replied with a nod. Then, everyone heard a car driving closer. Soon, the car arrived at the store. The reporters were in another uproar. The car pulled over and two titled battle pet warriors stepped up the stairs. Zhou Tianguang immediately recognized that they were from the Yi family. Yi Qiu and Yi Zhon. Yi Qiu and Yizhon first were startled after seeing the two from the Zhou family. Inwardly, addressed them as old foxes. They had thought they had gone there quickly enough. How could they know that the Zhou family would react even faster? The next second, Yi Qiu and Yizhon noticed the person standing next to Su Ping. What a surprise! They recognized Venerable the Blade, neither expected to see him there. Venerable the Blade was someone who could become a legendary battle pet warrior. Yi Qiu and Yizhon felt extremely flattered. They hurried inside without assuming any airs. Mr. Su, nice to meet you. This must be Venerable the Blade. How do you do? Yi Qiu and Yizhon greeted them with the best attitude. Venerable the Blade replied kindly to their greeting. After all, those two were also titled battle pet warriors. So, your family head is also busy with something. Su Ping raised his eyebrows. The family head of the Zhou family was not there and the Yi family had resorted to the same tactic. It seemed that they were afraid for their family heads to show up, in case there was danger involved. He believed the other three families would do the same. Su Ping was unhappy. He had nothing to say to those elders since their family heads were not present. The two elders from the Yi family were embarrassed, but scheming as they were, they soon found an excuse. Their excuse sounded quite reasonable. Su Ping did not bother exposing their lie. He told them to sit down and wait for the others to arrive. Venerable the Blade could tell that those people had shown up to answer to an invitation made by Su Ping. He had not chosen the perfect day to visit, something was going to happen in the store. That being said, Venerable the Blade believed that those insignificant titled battle pet warriors would be unable to stir up much trouble. He chose not to get himself involved. He asked Su Ping for the little skeleton to continue the lessons. Su Ping didn't summon the little skeleton right away. After all, he would need the little skeleton to scare the 5 families if the conversation didn't go pleasantly. Su Ping told Venerable the Blade to sit down. He grabbed some ice cream and sat down on the couch. Brother Ling, do you want one? Well, sure. Su Ping grabbed another ice cream cone and handed it over. Su Ping and Venerable the Blade were sitting on the couch, eating ice cream. The 4 elders felt quite awkward, even Tang Ruyan was getting a bit uneasy. Mr. Su, a small gesture from us. The 2 elders from the Yi family took out a present, worried since Su Ping had not said anything to them yet. Su Ping darted a glance. What is that? The 2 elders from the Yi family opened their present at once. It was a pendant that was both precious and useful. It had a miraculous effect that nurtured a person's spiritual energy. Su Ping immediately lost interest. He had artifacts with similar properties. He had taken at least 3 of such items from the mysterious realm. He saved the best for himself and gave Su Lingyu the second best. It would benefit Miss Su considerably. The 2 from the Yi family smiled fawningly. Su Ping took it over. He considered giving his mom the soul lantern and let Su Lingyu have this pendant. Fine, Su Ping answered and put away the pendant casually. The 2 from the Yi family were unable to determine what Su Ping was thinking. Did he dislike it? Or did he like it but wanted more? At that moment, another car was driving over. The other families arrived one after the other. They must have discussed matters beforehand. Su Ping was right. No family head would go there. Only family elders would attend. The Qin family had sent over an elder and another representative that Su Ping knew, Qin Shuhai. Chapter 390, One Punch. Qin Shuhai picked up a strange sense from the 2 statues by the door, a scary sense. But his focus did not linger too much on them. He saw Su Ping sitting on the couch. He went inside with a smile and happily greeted Su Ping, Brother Su. Su Ping nodded as a reply. The familiarity displayed between Qin Shuhai and Su Ping didn't sit well with the pairs of elders from the Mu and the Liu families. The 4 merely exchanged hellos and then began to size up the store. The 4 were surprised to find that they could not peer into the many closed rooms in the store. As if there were layers of seals outside. More so, they were unable to feel the energy presence that usually came with seals. That was strange. Su Ping remained seated on the couch as he said, I see that your family heads are also too busy to attend. Isn't that so? His words had a frightening effect. Qin Shuhai smiled apologetically. Brother Su, although our family head is swamped, he has specifically told Elder Haotian and me to come. Elder Haotian enjoys the same status in the family as our family head and he is our family head's cousin. I hope you won't mind. Our family head has prepared this small gift as a token of our sincerity. Qin Shuhai took out a gift box. He had noticed that those from the Zhou and the Yi families had also brought gifts, and they had already opened them. Those sly foxes. Qin Shuhai thought. He didn't leave Su Ping guessing, opening his gift right away. There was an herb full of green concealed in a transparent tube. The herb was casting an emerald green hue on the golden silk that was inside the box. That hue was evidence of the high quality of the herb. Su Ping recognized it at once. This was the phoenix frost grass. It was said that the grass grew out of phoenix's lairs and would go through the test of a phoenix's force. The phoenix frost grass contained a strong vitality. It could save the injured, no matter how severe the injury was, as long as the person was still holding on to the last breath. It could be said that the phoenix frost grass represented a second life. An herb like this was simply unavailable, it could not be found on the market. It was beyond Su Ping's expectation that the Qin family would be so generous. Giving this herb as a gift was equal to their family head making a personal visit. Those from the other four families stared at Qin Shuhai in shock after they saw the phoenix frost grass. They would have never guessed that the Qin family would go to such lengths. The Pixie Pet store had offended the Star organization. There was no telling if the store could survive the Star organization's retaliation. Su Ping could find himself in serious trouble when the Star organization arrived. Giving him expensive gifts would be a useless gesture because they would eventually fall into the pockets of the Star organization, and those overlords might go after them later to question why they had provided Su Ping with generous gifts. The Qin family has always been the cunning kind, never making a wrong move. Why would they take such a risk today? The elders from the Mu family pulled a long face when Qin Shuhai revealed his gift. The former pair felt they had been duped. They were not alone. The rest of the families also thought they had fallen into the trap set up by the sly old fox of the Qin family. The 5 family heads were absent. Naturally, they had held a secret meeting and had reached an unspoken but mutual understanding. The Qin family did follow their agreement. Qin Juhuang didn't go there in person, but the gift was just valuable as his presence. That would make the other 4 families look bad. The 2 elders from the Mu family didn't know what the others had prepared, but their gifts would definitely fall short when compared to the value of the phoenix frost grass. Standing next to them were the 2 elders from the Liu family whose faces were clouded. However, the 2 from the Liu family ended up wearing scornful grins. The Qin family made the wrong decision. This is a good one. Su Ping put the phoenix frost grass away. He was very happy about it. It was actually one of the materials he needed for the second level of the solar bulwark. He had summoned the 5 families because he wanted to have them search for materials required for the solar bulwark. He was more than glad that he had obtained one before he even asked. Qin Shuhai put on a smile, relieved that Su Ping had accepted the gift. Then, the 2 from the Mu family stepped forward to present their gift. It was an egg. That was actually a dragon's egg. The cyan stripes on the shell showed that it was Night Wind Dragon's egg, a dragon from the Wind family at the upper position of the 9th rank. The Night Wind Dragon was not one of the rarest dragons, but it could be counted as precious. Su Ping took a look but didn't accept the gift. It was just an egg of a 9th rank dragon. He didn't care for it, and he didn't plan on getting more pets for himself. Besides, if he actually planned on finding another pet, he would use the pool to breed one. The pool had been upgraded to the 4th rank and the chances of breeding a pet with a legendary rank bloodline were great. Su Ping had 0 interest in an egg of a dragon that did not even have a legendary rank bloodline. He would have to incubate the egg and then train the dragon, which would not be as powerful as his Inferno dragon. He would rather use that time and energy on the Inferno dragon. If he were to take on a new battle pet, it would have to be endowed with special abilities that could make up for some weaknesses he currently had. Otherwise, he would have to think twice, even if the pet had a legendary rank bloodline. The representatives from the Mu family were stunned, seeing that Su Ping would refuse. Why would anyone turn down a dragon? The others were just as stupefied, including Qin Shuhai and Venerable the Blade. The dragon, at the very least, could be used as a secondary pet. No one would ever have too many dragons. Get me something else. Something like the Phoenix Frostgrass, Su Ping mentioned. The two from the Mu family were speechless. Of course, the Phoenix Frostgrass was good. It was equal to a second life and was extra effective to battle pet warriors below the legendary rank. Of course, legendary battle pet warriors would also want that as well. They wondered what the Qin family was thinking. Did they have too many treasures to give away? Since Su Ping would not accept the dragon egg, the two from the Mu family had no choice but to take it back. They would return it to the family warehouse and give it to some outstanding disciples in the family. The two from the Liu family squeezed a smile on their faces and took out their gift. Also eggs, 2 of them. But the pets had merely 8th rank bloodlines. The others were unable to believe what the Lius had prepared. With great interest, they darted a look at Su Ping and then at the 2 elders of the Liu family. All of them knew about the competition between the Liu family and Su Ping. As a matter of fact, the Liu family was the reason that Su Ping was dead set on getting the championship. At the very beginning, the Pixie Pet store only had the top 100 service, which was not high profile. However, the Liu family had to compete against him before finding out more about him. The Liu family ended up hurt, also depriving all the other families a chance at winning the championship. Using 2 eggs of 8th rank pets was awfully pathetic. The market price of the 2 eggs was merely a few million. Did that even count as money? No. That was nothing. If they were 2 well-trained 8th rank battle pets already in adulthood, they could be worth over 10 million, which could compare to the 9th rank dragon egg that the Mu family had brought. After all, to breed an egg and train the dragon would be a massive investment. The more one spent, the better the training would be. A top-level dragon without quality training would end up worse than a wild dragon. Su Ping shifted his gaze from the 2 eggs to the 2 elders of the Liu family. He was interested to see what kind of expressions were on their faces and what gave them the courage to take out the 2 eggs after what the Mu family had presented. The 2 from the Liu family were a bit embarrassed. However, their long lives had given them enough experience in going through the awkwardness. They still managed to keep a smile on their faces and kept on talking about the many advantages of the 2 eggs. No one else said a thing. Su Ping kept a poker face. He even felt an urge to laugh out loud. After the 2 elders' speech, Su Ping questioned them directly. So, you're either treating me like a fool or thinking that I'm doomed after having offended the Star organization. Either way, how dare you to insult me with this? The others were eyeing the 2 elders of the Liu family, openly amused. While it was true that they didn't think much of the odds for Su Ping and the Pixie Pet store, either, it was too much for them to have shown that so explicitly. The Liu family is a major family. How could you be so cheap? What jerks? Mr. Su, no, we don't mean that. How about we go back and get you 2 eggs from pets of the 9th rank? The 2 elders of the Liu family smiled apologetically. Although they disdained Su Ping and were convinced that the store would soon be obliterated, they were scared. Su Ping's cold glare reminded them he was a person that could kill titled battle pet warriors. The Liu family was incapable of enduring that Su Ping made a scene in their territory before the Star organization arrived. Is there something wrong with your ears? Can't you hear me? I run a pet store. Do I need pets? I won't accept it even if you were giving me an egg of the golden dragon. Su Ping sneered. Or, the Liu family is thinking that since I am doomed anyway, whatever you give me will be a waste of your money, right? The 2 elders of the Liu family turned pale. Mr. Su, that's not what we are thinking. This is all just a misunderstanding. Oh, I just remembered. We have another gift. This is a defensive treasure that can withstand the energy attack by someone at the upper position of the 9th rank. One of the two made up his mind and took out a jade pendant from his chest pocket. Everyone turned their gazes to Su Ping. Su Ping did not take it. The jade pendant was the old man's item and he thought he could use that as a gift since he saw things were going south. I have more than enough junk like this. A glint of coldness rose in Su Ping's eyes. He lifted his hand. A golden glow was gathered around his fist as he punched out. He did it within the blink of an eye. There was a bursting noise in the air. Fist of Exorcist. With an overwhelming sense, the punch was directed at the face of the Liu family elder. He was standing close to Su Ping, who had been training physical skills. The Liu family elder had no time to react when Su Ping took this sudden action. The others were frightened. No one expected that Su Ping would resort to violence at the slightest disagreement. Would he kill the elder in public just because of that trivial matter? Bang! A shield was summoned. The glaringly golden fist smashed the shield. The shield was cracked. The wind stirred up by the impact was blowing the Liu family elder's gray hair backward. And Su Ping stopped his fist next to the old man's nose. That was less than 2 centimeters away from his eyes. The strong impact and the wind made the old man squint his eyes. The next second, the fist was moved away and Su Ping sat back on the couch before anyone could tell. But the jade pendant in the elder's hand had turned into dust. When the shield generated by the jade pendant was crushed, the jade pendant itself was also destroyed. The gift that the elder was presenting to Su Ping no longer existed. I'm not a junk dealer. Don't ever think I'll accept everything. Su Ping leaned against the couch. His voice was chilly.